Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Lightworker Radio. Thanks for tuning in with us this afternoon. And I'm Christina, your host, and today I'm here with my co-host, Anita. Actually, she hasn't been here for quite a while, so I'm really delighted that we can be together. Hello, Anita.
Hi, and hello, everybody. Yes, it's pretty joyful to be here for the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as you know, today we have a wonderful show. The music that you just heard at the beginning is called Joyful Dragon. It is one of the 18 sound elixirs from Almine. And Almine is actually our special guest today. And those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, Almine is an international teacher, mystic, author, and Totec Nagual. And actually I would add maybe singer and musician along with that. She is a regular on Lightworker Radio. She usually joins us bi-weekly from our meditation and group gathering that we get, in regards to the teachings and the cutting-edge information that comes through Almine, through the infinite. And we are very delighted that she's here with us today and to share with us about the angel sound elixirs. And I believe she's online on air with us here. One moment.
Beautiful Christina. Thank you
Hi,
so much
Almine.
for having me.
Oh, thank you. And Anita's here with us also.
I know. I'm delighted about that. Hello, my sweetheart. Good to hear from you again, Anita.
Oh, wonderful to be here with you both.
Thank you. You know what, Almine? I just listened to all 18 sound elixirs and my personal one about 3 times before the show. So I'm kind of flying high here. I hope I don't forget how to speak.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I thought this would be really great to share with it. I know many people already know about the angel sound elixirs, but a lot don't know, and especially maybe some of our listeners. And I really, really wanted to share that today because, Anita and I also do sound healing, so this really, really resonates with me. And I feel it's very, very important work here, or, sound healing that you've brought forth for us. So maybe today you could share with us, about the elixirs and how they came about and the importance or the benefits. And I'm going to try to play maybe a few more of them and that you can maybe tell us a bit about them. Would that work?
That would be wonderful, yes. And, I did actually ask and got a yes maybe from our very shy sound producer, Paul Downs, but he is the one that has produced the music that I sing. And I was trying to get him to be online with us. Do you happen to know if he's in the queue or waiting?
I see another area code from your area. That could be him.
That is Jan. But
Jan?
He's in the same house, I think, as Jan, so we could put them both on the phone. But Paul's last 4 digits is 7001. Do you have that?
No, that's
maybe?
Paul. That's Paul. Let me see.
Okay.
Hello, Paul. Are you there?
Good morning, Christina. How are you?
Oh, we got him online.
Good.
I am delighted.
Hi, Almine.
Just telling them it's a rarity, my friend, so I'm delighted you're with us.
It's nice to be on board.
Good.
Exciting.
Thank you. Well, that's wonderful because, of course, you're the producer and work with Almine on this, so I'm really delighted that you be here. Thank you.
Hello, Paul.
Thank you, Christina. Yes, it's great to be on the show, and if anyone's got any questions about how we created these 18 elixirs, or if I can shed any light on their qualities, then you fire away.
And Paul, we have Anita on the line with us as well.
Hello, Anita.
Hi, Paul. Yes,
How are you doing?
Oh, very well.
Good.
Oh, good.
Okay, I think we're ready for some questions if you want to ask them, Christina.
Well, basically, first off, if we could maybe start off, how the sound elixirs came about, and why you feel that these are so important, and then, speak about the benefits of them. And what I was hoping to do is because I really want people to hear some of them, so then hopefully they'll go to the websites and, purchase them. But if I could play a few of them, and maybe you could speak a little bit about on each one of those, And if any questions come up, we'll go from there.
Certainly. And if I could just preface this, and I'd like Paul to fill in any bits and pieces that I miss after each comment, but what I want to preface this with is that we must understand that there's two forms of sound elixirs, and then what it is, and then I'll briefly say from my side what happened to bring it about, and then Paul can say what it's like when they're being produced, because the music has flowed through both of us. And Paul, has this incredible luminous quality about the music he produces, and I'm extremely proud of working with him and being associated with him as Spiritual Journey sound producer. The 18 sound elixirs is $18. And what they are meant for, other than for your own individual use, is for canceling out illusion in a way that you can do it around others. We, for example, we've got so many testimonials that literally they're falling by the wayside. Unfortunately, they pour in, and we don't always get them on. We definitely have some of them on the sites. If you go to www.angelsoundhealing.com, there's a place for testimonials, and also we currently have a site called Sound Elixirs, ELIXIRS.com.
And there's a hyphen.
Almine?
Yeah.
I believe that everything is on angelsoundhealing.com.
It's all been transferred. Okay, I knew that there was
right.
going to say that they're going to be merging it, but okay, they've already merged it.
It's done already. Yeah.
Oh, great. Good to know that. Well, then that's the only place to look, and you can take a look at the testimonials. But we also do, of course, it costs quite a bit more than the $18 for 18 elixirs, but we do individual sound healing elixirs. And, I can let Christina and Anita later on in the show, I'm sure they just want to also share what it was like to get theirs. But it's made especially for you when you place an order. It's never repeated. It's not played anywhere else. It is just yours, and it's yours for life, because it doesn't come from me, nor does it come from Paul. We are but the hollow bone that makes the music, but it's the infinite that plays it. And so we take dictation as this comes through, and as it occurs, the feeling of your presence is so strong. And everyone is entirely unique, as I said. Through your life, it will cause your body to detoxify. It will cause your life to detoxify, because an elixir is that you put black and white light, or black and white frequencies together in equal proportions. And when you do that, it cancels out illusion. It's a technology that is the first of its kind on Earth today that uses these subliminal frequencies and subliminal light to actually counteract the hostile technologies that have been used by many different groups that have wanted control of man over the ages and over the years. They have utilized our inability to see and hear subliminal frequencies. And this is the first benign technology that we have to combat the effects of the mind control and the controlling of the emotions, like the HAARP project, HAARP, and so on. And so, you either can get a personal one or you can get a sound elixir one. And Paul, can I have you just sort of say how these, how the personal elixirs come through, and then when you're done, I'll tell them how the 18 elixirs happened.
Okay, yeah. It's the most fascinating process. It's startling because I've been in the recording business for nearly 30 years, and I've worked with artists from all over the world, Extreme, Janet Jackson, Book My Studio, Status Quo, the list goes on and on. I certainly can blow my trumpet about my clients list, but I've never experienced anything as divine and earth-shattering as how we are producing these sound elixirs. It's a spontaneous process. I might say it's like something that has been obscured which is just wide awake in itself. These layers of intelligence, this pure light has been obscured for a long time. We've always sensed that, there's some kind of masking of perfection, but as soon as Almine is seated in the sound booth, in the birdcage, so to speak, that we call it the birdcage.
You refer to it as Twitter.
Yeah, it's cute. I mean, I have to keep this birdcage well serviced with flowers and little pictures in there and pretty little oil lamps,
Oh.
But this spontaneous connection with the infinite, which is it's effortless. It glows. I must admit, it seems like these things are just happening spontaneously. Traditionally, a producer, an artist, will go in with some kind of demo that they've knocked out at home. They've got something written down, a score, or something recorded on a cassette. You've got some guidelines. But we're actually just recording stuff on the fly, instantaneously. I mean, there's no cue. I mean, I would just press start. I have these wonderful drones which I've crafted over time. Without even listening to them, Almine is spontaneously creating these wonderful melodies, and it's usually first take wonder, I must say.
Well, Paul, I don't know if you've noticed this, but in actual fact, the miracle is sort of building because, of course, every elixir that we produce and sing and hear, we change. And yesterday, a miracle happened, and it's because we're so used to them, it hardly registered. And then I walked away, and I thought, do you realize what just happened, Almine? I mean, this is a whole new high. Because on a drone, it's really playing only a chord, and you sing within that chord. But yesterday, you had actually received, in my absence, music, which we're creating right now, 24, but 12 will be available to the public in their known constellations like the Pleiades and Lyra and Antares and so on. But we're producing sound elixirs from these planetary systems. Well, in my absence, they came in, the Andromedan race that call themselves the Barugala. They're very active in the crop glyph making, and many of the crop glyphs have been of their making during the past summer particularly. But Paul had received their music in my absence. And now that's not just one chord that's played all the way through. It's a complex composition. I came in and without hearing the composition sang, prior, was able to sing the top of it to put in the vocals.
Well, I think our star race buddies up there are actually setting the pace because, I mean, I have my witness right here from Team Almine. He can back this one up. 2 weeks ago, we were standing outside the studio in the evening, warming our hands around a log fire. It's beautiful here in Oregon, there's just the scent of the air and the shadows around the trees. The studio door was wide open, and suddenly we heard the sound of Gregorian monks chanting from the studio. And I thought, uh-oh, here we go again. So the fairies are writing the next elixir, it seems, I've had moments where I've come in and piano lines are playing out of the blue. I mean, I'm working with a sequencer. It's on a PC, but there are times with these strains, like piano pieces, are just playing without me touching the keyboard. I can't always bolt them down in time, but essentially it's giving me fantastic inspiration and guidance, you see.
And the other miracle that has been happening is this real-time fixing of our music, so to speak. Because remember that day that you wrote a piece, well, you had received a piece from the Star Brothers. I could hear the same piece in the morning, even though I was taking my child to school in the car. As you were receiving it, I heard you had received it the night before. I heard it the next morning. And the vocals that I was to sing, which is sounding a bit like a Gregorian monk's chant at the bottom line of it. but I could hear it very clearly. And when I got back and we started to record, I put some vocals in there. By that evening, there was a massive shift of consciousness on the planet. By the next morning, the vocals I had put in had changed. Do you remember that?
I do indeed,
one
yeah.
That had sort of a I don't want to call it grunting because it isn't grunting, but it had this sort of a push behind the music. And the next
little bit of Janis Joplin in the voice, I remember.
And the next day, it was completely different when we switched on the equipment. Oh,
yes, it's amazing. Go ahead, Almine.
Sorry, no, I was just thinking, Christina, you possibly want to play your next elixir.
Yes, actually.
Okay, I can hear that.
I was just. Oh, you can hear me, can you? Because I actually have a question. I'm going to play. Maybe you can say a little bit about it first. I'm going to play Mayan Legend, and I mean I love them all. But of course we all have our favorites. But something about this one when I played it the other day. First of all, it sounds like to me like a lullaby at first, and it's very familiar. Like I know it or I've heard it before. And then I kind of have a question of what you say in that, but I'll ask that afterwards. But maybe either one of you can tell us a little bit about Mayan legend.
I'd be happy to. And the Mayan legend, just, one thing that folks can notice, which has been a massive astonishment to Paul and myself, whatever voice is required for either the star elixirs or these 18 elixirs, which anyone to create sound healing for a sick child. They can play it in the car. They can play it in their home. People don't even need to know that it's eliminating. It's nice just to listen to it. But this particular one, you can hear how different the voices on it are. Mm-hmm. Perhaps not as much as some of the others, but every single voice on there is my voice. And so I have started singing bass, and I sing all the way up the piano to, actually I've sung high E. Yesterday I sang high E. So that's E above the last E in the register of the treble clef. And here you can hear this childlike voice. And all the voices on the other elixirs as well would be my voice. But actually we do have an overtone singer that does singing with me on one of them. But the healing of the inner child and the restoration of purity and playfulness is what the Mayan legend promotes. So the inner child is healed, and that is why it sounds like a lullaby.
Okay. And it also correlates to the digestive tract I was reading, which has always been an issue for me. So it was.
Well, if there is an unhappy inner child, there has been insufficient mothering. I mean, sometimes a parent tries their best, but a family might grow up in a depression or a dysfunction or alcoholism or whatever, and even though one of the parents might be trying their best, there might be insufficient mothering. And that creates malabsorption in the transverse colon duodenal area. That's why the healing of this also soothes that area so that true absorption of mineral and alkaline-producing elements in the diet can be done.
Well, thank you for that.
Very holistic.
Okay, I'm going to.
I'd just like to interject. I believe that the sorcerers and sorceresses of old would sing these lullabies, like the Mayan legend, to their daughters as apprentices, to pass on this tonal tradition, so to speak. So there's it's alchemical wisdom which has been passed on through the realms. You might say it's not always been a linear progression, but there's some beauty in how the child sorcerer becomes. I'm talking about incorruptible white magic. Some people think that sorcery is something dark and dangerous, but it's it really, if you take away all the oblivion, the clouds, it's pure incorruptible white light, which has been revealed to us through the Mayan legend and elixirs in this vein.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to play it for you.
Okay, thank you.
They hide among the ordinary, where none know to seek. Immortal they are, and never death shall see. Some through time tunnels came to walk with man. Others for thousands of years have lived on the land. Ishana Makata, Eke Eye Yasa, Sinurpa, Minen Manish, Usvante. Some in isolation watch over human affairs. Most reside again among men, though none know they're there. They overcome the illusions that man might see. This is the reason they assume infirmities. Eshpanite ikupohuvahan men paminish maya kenesh esata kihang ana ite minish baha. When Mayan records, holy and pure, are once again read, they need no longer endure. Let them from this service be set free. Let the God kingdom arise in majesty.
Wow, that one resonates very, very deeply with me. Almine, I'm hearing another message in this one as well, and maybe you could comment on this. Is like the message is a message in there as well about records and when the records are going to be read.
Yes.
Of course, that captured my attention. I was thinking, well, what records are those, and have they been read yet, or are we?
Well, this is very interesting that you would ask this today, because we have just opened the Institute of Human Potential, and people can take a little peek at it by going to institutehumanpotential.com. But this is the first time the sacred libraries of the world that I've translated, actually, and I will put it in 2007, but yet a few came to the fore, and so we might as well say since 2007. So these libraries are hidden libraries on the earth, and they simulate a DNA awakening. So as the libraries open, then everything in man becomes fully awake. So this is the first time this information is available to the public. It is the first month of the Institute of Human Potential that sheds a light on the secrets of man, so that a great influx of illumination can happen on earth, because, and it brings us back to the 18 sound elixirs and so forth, but we have been instructed to open 3 institutes, each 3 months long. The one came from the God Kingdom. It's over 1,000 pages of written material. Came from the God Kingdom, and it's the I Am course, Institute of Applied Mysticism course on immortality and incorruptibility, which immortality is what this Mayan legend is singing about. So and in that class, which also has just begun, folks can still sign up. They can go to appliedmysticism.com or, as I said, institutehumanpotential.com. But for the first time, the records are read. For the first time, the actual science of obtaining immortality and eventually what lies beyond it, which is incorruptibility, which is what the 18th elixir deals with. This is the 11th elixir, the Mayan legend. It deals with immortality. So the way to become an immortal master, or to remember that you are an immortal master, has been given. And as of these few days in which we have been, for the first time, there is an opening that has taken place of these records, and they are read. And so this is the time when the God beings amongst man, who have some of them for millions and millions of years inhabited the earth, they go about their business. Let's say it's a Taoist immortal master that may have gone beyond and entered the God kingdom, or just an immortal master. The Taoist immortal master might stand and peddle his fish or her fish. As others around them grow older, they would move to the next town and peddle their fish over there. So as they become older, they move from place to place to place. There is a great fascination right now with vampires. And our teenagers, has become sort of a cult. Why is it that they're so interested and fascinated by it? It's the immortality aspect, because it's time for that concept to be embraced by the masses. That there are, in fact, people that do not age, that have to, they are, to quote a scripture, because one of the Apocrypha, which is a book that was tossed out by the old Catholic masters, priests out of the Bible itself, which is the song, is it the Song of Solomon? It's the Odes of Solomon. The Odes of Solomon. And he says, "And I had the form and fashion of a strange person, and all who saw me were amazed by me." And, he's speaking about how he is becoming immortal and that he doesn't grow old. See, I've lived in this little town a long, long time, and I don't recognize people that are around me anymore because they've aged so much that they often come up, "Hello, Almine, how nice to see you," and I don't know who they are. And then when they introduce themselves, wait a minute, I've spent 5 years taking my child to this person's music lessons or whatever. So it's like that. Now, what they've endured is the following. Because it says when these records are open, they no longer need to endure the fate where they have taken upon themselves infirmities, so that man can learn. Well, the infirmities are taken on not necessarily by choice, because that's a form of martyrdom. And when you're an immortal master, you don't try and be a martyr by fixing life, as is clearly explained in the science of immortality and incorruptibility. But it happens by default, shall we say, in the following way. Christina, yourself, my sister Anita, my brother Paul, you are all three at this point immortal masters and beyond. Okay, you know that every time there's a shift on earth, your whole life shifts. Because as that, you've become the pivot points. And so what happens is that you're less dense than anyone else in your environment. If there's a part of the ocean that's less dense, for example, a warm ocean current, the warm ocean current flows, but you will find that there's cold that follows in its way. It's like convection streaming is what I think what it's called. This is what happens to immortal masters, because they become very light and, shall we say, non-dense. Life being like an ocean fills it with the density from others. It tends to create weight gain because the physical manifestation of it is in fact toxicity held in pockets that most people think is fat, but it's not, under the skin. And it produces infirmities when society around us is in some way diseased. The immortal master overcomes those infirmities but that is what this is saying. And it seems to me that this is the day for the immortal masters not to have to take on the density of others so that there's an equalizing and then keep transmuting it, which means they have to work extra hard. It's the day for this to end.
That's amazing.
I was wondering.
Beautiful.
No, that's exactly what I was feeling today, and I guess I played the 18 elixirs in my personal one just before the show, in that sense, and I actually said that to myself a few days ago, that I would no longer take on, because I'm living now with my brother and his family. It's like I would no longer take on that density, you know, and I don't know. That totally makes sense to me. It gives me understanding of what's been happening the last few days.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Paul, I think you have something to say. Did you want to just mention that?
Yeah, there might be something else that's coming into effect here, because I managed to finish the Star Race elixir for Klanovik 2, which is the second set of 12 elixirs. You know, it's for the invisible constellations, and Klanovik is actually our smoky sun. It's our inner Earth. It's actually I believe it's the new great central sun. It's here. It's not out there. It's not like something that we're orbiting anymore. We're standing on it. Now, as far as I can understand, and I have very limited knowledge here, Klanovik is actually pulsing out. It's directing the rest of the planets and constellations. It's like the conductor in the orchestra. It's bringing everything out of cacophony back into tune, back into rhythm, back into flow again. It was a very, very difficult elixir to produce, and I found I was literally just nodding. I couldn't stay awake. I was having to go out and drink coffee, which I don't want to drink much of. Go out on my bike just to revive my senses. But I managed to get it finished last night, and it seems like something has just opened up. I feel that Klanovik is pulsing now, and it's sending out this conductor's guidance, you might say.
And incidentally, both Christina and Anita are oracles, meaning that they are able to write exquisite glyphs and languages and hear the languages and speak them, and so on, from other realms and other star systems for that matter. Because, you gave me some stationery with these oriental-looking brushstroke glyphs that you had produced. Christina, do you remember that when I was last in Toronto?
Okay.
It turns out it's from one of the planets.
Oh, really?
Yes. So.
That one. Oh my God.
That one.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what? I did those a while ago.
Well, they're absolutely an entire glyph set that is coming in from one of the planets, and I would have to look it up now to know exactly which one. But the point is that I'm trying to make is that oracles, just like Paul, when they hit something where the information is like a transfiguration, because the subtle information in these elixirs have different. They either transform, which means they shed old illusion, and they are alchemical, as Paul pointed out, so they leverage consciousness upwards. But when they are transfigurational, which means that you just jump a whole new level to another way of being, because it contains too much light for your present status to contain. When it's like that, the oracles fall asleep. They can't keep their eyes open. And so, too, with Paul, he can't keep his eyes open. For myself, when I sang that elixir, Klanovik 2, that is the particular elixir that I sang one way. And then the next morning, after a tremendous shift in planetary consciousness, the very next morning, I could, my voice changed, pieces were eliminated. I had done sort of a pulsation of forceful sounds in the bottom. It was gone. And on Elixir 18, which is the one here, part of the 18 elixirs that folks can get on our website for $18 currently, that one, Paul and I finished, and then there was a shift, and we had to start all over again. and see how we've now gone to the next level, because now when there's a shift, the music changes by itself. But Klanavik 2, when we sang it, I could feel that something profound changed in me. And sometimes it takes place as purification. You find uric acid coming out as though you've done too much exercise. And sometimes it's this way where everything is just totally clear and you can see differently. And yesterday we were talking about the fact that for the first time we could really feel that we were living in a timeless place. Yesterday, remember yesterday when we were recording, Paul, I said, how strange, because normally when I do the personal elixirs, it just pours through me. And I'm just in total emptiness, like a hollow bone, and the music just comes through. Well, yesterday, it was as though the elixir was already done. And I could always hear the notes right ahead of me as I was singing. And the reason for that is that just time is just gone.
I also noticed this morning that all my joints were supple. I mean, I've been feeling like an old hawthorn branch recently, really stiff in the morning. And it's like, what's up with me? I'm just seizing up, and like turning into stone. But this morning I just glided out of bed like, a helium balloon, just getting out of bed. It was really nice feeling, So
Lightworkers really should compare notes, because I'm so glad to hear this. I've been creaky. I've been just stiff in my joints. And I must say, I haven't had
like
that.
the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz,
There.
Sorry. Go on.
Oh, sweetheart, did you want to do any more elixir or?
I do want to do one more, but I wanted to ask you because about the I wanted to share about our personal elixirs and talk about that, and maybe ask. I know lately you've been translating people's personal elixirs, and people have been writing to me saying, Christina, is this the show? We can do it? And I'm like, no, I hope we can do one. And, of course, I would like to ask if you can maybe do mine and Anita's on the show. But I do want to say something about the personal elixir, because Paul just reminded me of it. When I first got mine, I felt I no longer had a physical body. Like I felt like I was just liquid floating. It was amazing, and I went through certain emotions. But after listening to it about 100 times, the beginning, I later began to hear, and I think, or maybe I was just actually hearing what was already there, was you speaking other languages that I didn't hear the first 100 times. So, I mean, I know that they upgrade for us, as we shift, and it's for our whole life, and that's beautiful. And please, anybody out there, personal elixir, I recommend it highly, highly. But is that possible?
My sister, it's been happening to us. I tell you this, I sing something, I come back, and there's something entirely different. And usually I can particularly remember pieces of what I sang the day before so that I have something to compare it with. And I come back and something entirely different is there. They are truly a miracle.
Yes, they are.
Mine has evolved as well.
Yours has what, Anita?
Evolved.
It's really
changed. And I just have to share with you, it was incredible, because when I first was listening, I thought, I can feel the absolute essence of my origin. And it was like so moving. It's just, it's beyond words. But the language, I find different things each time.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear this. That's wonderful.
And I think it's amazing now that, and I had this feeling it would come about, but, to be able to translate it for people, because they are their personal elixirs, right? But we're all one, so there's going to be, and if you want to share it, there's going to be something in it for everybody, and so that, we can...
Well, I'm very happy for us to have even an hour show, and then if we still have more people writing, then we have another hour show. Because I know that people really want it on the radio shows, but I have the new people tuning in, and then I don't know what to do, how to balance it. So let's do that.
Yes, that would be wonderful. So put that out to everybody out there that we can, we can do a personal sound elixir translation show maybe next week. If we could set that up, that would be Wonderful. But I would love if you could do ours, and I do want to be able to play one more sound elixir before we come to the end of our show.
Do you want to play that first, and when we come back, I'll do that?
Okay, let's see. I want to play them all, but there's not enough time. How about, I don't know, I'm drawn to this one for some reason because it also feels related to my personal elixir. So I'm going to play Angel and Humans.
Okay.
Would you like always makes me cry.
Well, my sister, let me start by translating your elixir. I want to make sure we get everything into this hour that you've wanted us to accomplish. So let me do yours first, and then I'll do Anita's.
Okay.
And I'm going to be speaking for those who are new to this in the infinites language. that describes the meaning of the words on the elixir. Eshech nasaivech, machkana eshiata, usuvich kinech kaya, huyish esia nata, mesechne ekiechna unas viba, peresh kayach unusia kaye, viakiachna usuch manave. Great and glorious the light that you shine, one of the first and creations of the infinite you are, goddess of the throne of the infinite's being. From you was created much of life now seen. Like a lens in the light, through you the images shone, of planets and flowers, of humans and more. Great is the glory upon which you are bestowed. You are a gift to all that dwells on earth. I'm just seeing if I translated this one bit correct. Just a minute. No, it's great is the glory that has been bestowed on you. Ishachnechkia viasach usna peyechkana. And through you has become the gift to humankind. In other words, you're like a lens, one of the firstborn of the infinite. Light shines through you and creation forms. There's a message for you as well, Christina, that's not part of your elixir. Just hold on a second. Chekiach unas. Pech piakiechna viasa kush avivi. Do not be concerned. You are at this time shedding much in your life to prepare for the new to come. Nechkiach kasa. Esher anavich kenes. There always shall be my loving arms to lift you up and over, when even that which you could not have imagined comes to pass. And Anita's message, the elixir first, Inech vasach, Eshiach nasaiva, gentle of spirit, glorious of light, Mayech anuch vasa, Sechve bavavich ekneshve, Uklat virech panus. Through you shall much beauty come, for the song of your heart is pure. Sechvech kiach nasa, unfold the wings of light, that you might arise as in the original creation into the glory that is your birthright. Nesech kayach usech. The Infinite says the English has not adequate words. And the message is this: there is no birth. There is no beginning. For when life is real, all has always existed. Individuation falls away, and each becomes an ever-changing, glorious emphasis of the one life. Mechkiach kanus ava, esech va'anas. Let passionate exploration of life be awakened in you, goddess of light. Sechkiach nasu ishvasai nechkava. You are the one life, and in you all dwells and is beneficially uplifted by the joy of your heart. That is it.
Oh. Thank you, Almine.
Hard to have words after that.
That's why I brought my Kleenex. Thank
well,
you so
just
much.
to answer one question that I never did get to that you had posed, I had initially started hearing music that wouldn't go away and wouldn't go away and wouldn't go away. And then one day, I woke Paul up in the morning because, before they moved next door into the separate home, they were here in my home. And I went into the guest bedroom. I said, Paul, I hope you're decent. I'm coming in. And I said, we have got to do something. This song has been over and over and over all night in my head. And this one, I believe, became either number 2 or number 3, which is the Mountain Pond, which is for the cultivation of clarity and the release of tension. And
number 2, yes.
That's number 2. But I couldn't get it out of my mind. And so it was coming in through dictation. He laid down a track. We immediately captured it, and then he created some beautiful music around it. But they came, and when it was time for one to come, because they came exactly in the order that they needed to effect change, not only in our environment, but globally. And once it was sung, it changed. Everybody that's touched this has changed. Hong An is the one who takes your order and lets us know, who sends on the elixir, and so on. She started immediately to purify and change. Even though she didn't hear any of them, she was just working with the files. They are holy objects using the alchemical potencies of frequency that's currently being taught on the Academy of Alchemy.
And I am so grateful that you have shared this with us and brought this forth. Again, words are not adequate. Can we just, once again, we got a couple of minutes left, if we could just give the website once again where people can purchase the Angel Sound Healing Elixirs and their personal sound elixirs?
Yes.
Did you say they're both at angelsoundhealing.com?
They're both at angelsoundhealing.com, and you can, of course, go straight from that website to our stores that has the sound healing elixirs. Now, only the school on arcana.org, arcana.org, has the personal sound elixirs. And the reason for that is that they're treated very individually, and they're forwarded to us, and then the files go back and so on. So Hong An oversees that. The 18 elixirs is available from spiritualjourneys.com, our main site, as well as schoolofarcana.org. We have 2 storefronts, and that is where you can actually purchase them. But
I'd like to interject one thing, if I may, Almine. The track that we just played, the sound elixir from the 18 series, Angels and Humans, there was an exception with this production that it was also co-produced and co-written by Paul Gastold. My name is also Paul, but my name is Paul Downs, you see. So it's the brother I never met, and I hope to meet him one day. So well done, Paul. Thank you.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. And Paul, thank you for being here with us as well and sharing that. That was a wonderful surprise and gift as well.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. It was really exciting to be on board with you guys, and I hope to meet you in person one day. We will, for sure.
I believe you're coming to the Mexico cruise pod, are you not?
I'm not sure if I can make it.
I heard you were. Well, maybe there.
We were hoping, but the 18, the star seeds elixirs are starting to come in by the droves.
Oh, wonderful.
And so he may well be producing those for us at the time.
Okay, well, maybe we can do a show on that as well. And thank you so much. I hope that maybe we can arrange to do a personal sound elixir show next week, Almine. But this has been a pleasure, a blessing, and an honor. And, I love you and thank you so much for
Thank you so
everything.
much. And my sister Anita, I have missed you. Thank you, my darling, for being here as well and for having us.
I love you and Paul. I've missed you too. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Anita. Thanks, Christina.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Take care. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Thank you, Anita, and blessings and love to everyone.
Blessings. Thanks, Christina.
Thanks.